I believe they're going to vote on the conditions for their own individual family. Well, to his credit, Mitt Romney has just come out with an ad, basically broadcasting this quote to the world, and he calls it the ad, "The Audacity of Indifference." These people actually don't understand. The liberals are supposed to feel our pain. They're supposed to have compassion for people. Do they know how many ruined lives and stressed families are out there because of this unemployment? We have had unemployment for 25 straight months, over 8%. Obama promised us if we just passed the stimulus, unemployment would never rise above 8%. The Alinskyites have taken over the asylum, and the American people have noticed. They've noticed you. I will just tell you this. I'm not in the prediction business, but I will just say this. We have to have quiet confidence that we can beat these people into the ground, and I'll tell you why. Since modern polling was invented in the 1930s, no incumbent president has ever won re-election if unemployment is above 7.2%. Is there a person in this room who thinks that unemployment will be even below 8% in 2012? You can beat this fellow. That's why the title of my book is their next plan B, Stealing Elections. You can beat these people. And if you do, you will not only enter the history books, but you will have the enduring appreciation of your children and your grandchildren. Because I have to tell you, I've told you about the arc of the 16 years. There's another arc. It's called the third generation arc. It seems that every 3 generations in this country's history, ordinary people, ordinary Americans have been called upon to do extraordinary things, as Reagan told us they would. The first generation that had to do that was the Revolutionary War generation. We had to defeat the greatest military empire in the history of the world, the British, and we won our independence. 3 generations later, 75 years, came the Civil War. We had to end the scourge of slavery. We had to bind up the nation's wounds, as Lincoln said. We had to unite the country. And we did that. 75 years later, like clockwork, comes the Great Depression, exacerbated by the policies of the New Deal, as Wayne Allender told you. And of course, we had to have the generation that won World War II and set in motion the policies that eventually helped Reagan win the Cold War. Well, 75 years from 1935 is when? It's basically today. Now, I think you're the next generation that's going to be called upon to do extraordinary things, and many of you already have. I'm not saying that the challenges facing us are quite yet the level of the Great Depression or World War II, but if we do nothing, if we allow Obama a second term, they probably will be, which is why we're at the turning point, we're at the break point. If you win, and I think you will be the next generation that I think people will look back and say was one of the greatest generations. Every 3rd generation seems to have to take on the mantle of making sure this country stays free and proud and tall. Now, I believe that you can do this. Look, in 1977, things were even bleaker. But Reagan said we could, and we beat Jimmy Carter into retirement. Maybe not you, but your parents and grandparents did. In 1993, we did it with Bill Clinton. Beat him into submission. He was so distracted he had to go wandering off in search of interns. Now, I think you're going to do it again. We've already won the first 2 struggles in our living memory. The 3rd one is upon us. We're already 2 for 2. I say let's make it 3 for 3. And I think we can do it. The only thing that can stop us, and this is why we must remain united, is a 3rd party. Remember, in 1992, Bill Clinton won because Ross Perot ran for president. Yep. He stole the fiscal conservative vote because of Bush breaking the No New Taxes pledge that Americans for Tax Reform articulated. And too many people didn't know Ross Perot that well. If they'd waited a few more weeks, they would have realized that his tray table was not in its full upright and locked position. The only thing that stops us now is if some some candidate named Donald Trump or someone like him tries to steal some of the conservative vote. And believe me, it is not above the Obama people to try to recruit Donald Trump into this race. After all, Donald Trump is not a conservative. He was a Democrat until 2009. His last major campaign contribution was $50,000 to Rahm Emanuel running for mayor of Chicago. He has a lot of building projects in Chicago. As long as we stay united, as long as we're not seduced by the dark side of populist demagogues pretending they're conservatives, we are going to win. And if we win, you will be able to tell your children, your grandchildren, in 2011 and 2012, I was an ordinary person, but I rose up and with my friends and my family and my colleagues, we all did extraordinary things. We kept this country free, and we proved once again, you cannot possibly ever underestimate Americans. And remember what Winston Churchill said about America. He said, America will always, always do the right thing. It's just too often it must exhaust every other possibility. You, I am proud of. I have one of the best jobs in the world, is reporting on the hard work that you do. I have the easy part of the job. You have the hard part of the job. If you go out and do your part of the job, we are going to win. Thank you very much.